Welcome to the continuing series of South Florida Hospital News leadership videos. And right now we have a person that I've known for many, many years. In fact, I'm not going to give away how many years we've known each other, but many, many years. I want to welcome Wayne Brackin, who's the president and CEO of KIDZ Medical Services with us. And Wayne, it's great to see you here today.
Thank you, Charles. Good to see you as always.
And so Wayne, let's go ahead and get started. And I know you have a busy day as CEO of this organization. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am originally from Virginia, from a town called Hampton, Virginia, which is on the coast of the Chesapeake Bay, and it was a nice place to grow up. Probably different than the rest of Virginia in a lot of ways, but I was there, left there. I was in the Navy, and ultimately was a Medical Service Corps officer.
Oh, great.
And was stationed in a number of places. Was in Iceland for about a year and a half.
Wow.
Spent the majority of my time in the military at the Naval Medical Research Institute in Bethesda, Maryland, and that's when I finished my time in the Navy. I went back to grad school at George Washington University, which has been there are a lot of notable alumni who've been through South Florida over the years. When I finished, or I was near the finish of my time in class there, we had to go and do a one-year internship. Then that was a mandatory requirement. This professor says to me, he goes, "Listen, there's a guy here. I think he's coming in on the weekend." That's how they would do it. They'd come in on a weekend. Interview people for residency opportunities, and so he said, "Sign up to see this guy. I think you'll like him. I think you might be a match for him." So I go look at the board, and I see this guy's name is Mr. Cruz from Miami, and so I look at it, and at the time, I thought, well, I've never been to Miami. I'm not Hispanic. This guy's not going to pick me. So I passed. I didn't sign up. See the same professor again a couple days later. He said, what, you didn't sign up. You going to sign up? He goes, "I want you to sign up for that." So I didn't want to disagree with him, so I said I would, and then I still didn't. Third time he says, he tells me, "You have an appointment to see this guy at 10 o'clock on Saturday." Ultimately, I did get the opportunity to come to Miami, and I thought I'd be here for a year, do the internship, probably go back to DC, Maryland, Virginia, Mid-Atlantic region, and never left, and, never wanted to leave. And
after 1 year,
yeah, been here straight through. Me and my wife were here. We always liked it. Always liked Miami. It's a place that evolves continuously. Seems like about every 5 years, it's a little bit of a different Miami.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed that time here, really, very, very much, actually. And so, I stayed, got a job, one thing led to another, and I took off with my career.
So from there, how did you progress?
So my pathway at that point was I was hired at South Miami Hospital as an assistant administrator, and South Miami had gotten a management contract with hospital in Homestead at the time, which was called James Archer Smith Hospital, and was one of the oldest hospitals actually in the county. During that time, I was probably 5 years into my South Miami time, and was given the opportunity to go down and be the CEO at what was then James Archer Smith, that later became Homestead Hospital. So it was a tremendous opportunity for me, but in all honesty, it was probably not a job that a lot of people would want at that time, because the hospital was still owned by the city, hadn't made that transition yet, and would eventually do that. But I went down there. That transition did happen. I did end up being there through really what I would consider to be one of the, a life-altering experience, which is Hurricane Andrew. But I did learn a lot about emergency preparedness, or in that case, lack of preparedness, I would say, that we all were faced with at the time, including the government and the support. I mean, it was a different time and place, but it was a tremendous growth experience, and I am still in touch with the people that I went through that experience with. Many of whom still are working. Many of whom are still at that hospital.
Wow. So during the challenge, we get to where you are today, and tell us why you're here. I guess, what made you come to, after your hospital career, which is a long one, dealing in a large hospital, to come to KIDZ Medical Services as their CEO and president?
I always loved this community. Both my sons were born and raised here, and my wife always liked it here, and so we wanted to stay. We had a lot of friends and family and deep ties into the community, and so when we made the decision that we were going to stay here, my good friends here at KIDZ Medical,
which you've known for years,
which I knew for years and had the opportunity to work with. Had a great deal of respect for what they had built into this organization, but this was an opportunity to do something different and to work with some people that I knew very well, and they were interested in trying to help the organization mature, build in some more infrastructure, set along a path for growth, and I've had a very enjoyable time doing that with them.
Well, again, that's building an organization from the standpoint of somebody who knows how to build an organization. I mean, from your background within the hospital system, that was what you did. You built organizations from within and was able to make them grow. What would you say that people who are watching this will take a look at and say, well, it sounds like an organization I'd like to be part of? What are you looking for today in this organization as you grow? Because I know you're growing by leaps and bounds, right?
Yeah, I enjoy having young people in the environment, meaning that interns, administrative residents, people coming out of grad school and those kind of programs. I've really started to bring some of those people into this organization. Both locally and then from ties back to the George Washington University, people from FIU, We have a nice group of students coming through the organization, and like always, you take a look at what they've done and what their talents might be, and you start to build some bench strength, and that's what we've been doing. And I'm going to declare myself the master of long-term recruiting with this story, right? So there's I don't know, probably 24 years ago, let's say, I was working with, I was at South Miami Hospital as the CEO, and one of the folks who worked in HR had a baby, and the baby was premature. And this woman was just, fantastic employee at the organization. And so one day, so the baby went home and the mom went home. The HR director says to me, she goes, I'm going to visit this person at home. Would you like to come along? And I was like, sure. And since I knew her, and I it was a point of pride that I got to know many of the employees, most of them, and I said, sure, why not? So we hopped in the car, went down to visit, and saw the baby, and everything was great, and it was meaningful for me and for the HR person, and certainly for the new mom and the baby, and so then. Some 24 years later, she pops up as an applicant for a position at KIDZ Medical. the baby.
The baby.
Not the mom.
The baby.
And she had subsequently grown up and into a very healthy, vibrant young woman, went to Vanderbilt, graduated, and was interested to come back to Miami, and we connected up, and here she is working here today. So it only took us 24 years to land her, but it's a great little story, and
That's
she's
great.
here as a project manager for KIDZ Medical.
That's great. That's great. So finally, just kind of ended up, if there's a piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's out there today in the healthcare market, looking to get into healthcare, what would you say to them?
Well, I think if you're coming into healthcare from another industry, it can be challenging to make that move, especially when you come in, just from the outside without those internal relationships. Generally speaking, I tell people, look, you need to work in an organization and get outside your comfort zone, volunteer to do things that aren't normally within your purview. So let's say you're brought in as an IT expert, then look for opportunities to get to know other people in the organization. Work on projects in HR, work on quality improvement initiatives. Connect yourself to the organization in other ways beyond your expertise, because everybody knows you're an IT expert, but they don't really necessarily know you. And a hospital or any healthcare organization, it's a living organism, and the more you get to know people and the more you understand it and the depth of those relationships, the better you're going to do. And so that's what I would say.
Wayne, I know you got a busy day, and I appreciate you taking the time to meet with us today. And I'm sure we'll do a follow-up on this and kind of find out where we are a year from now.
Well, I'm happy to do it, Charles. I have likewise. We've grown up together.
Absolutely.
And admired all the things you've done in journalism and covering healthcare for all these years, and being a voice for doing the right thing for the patients in our community. So thank you for talking to me, and happy to do it again whenever you have the time.
Great. Thanks, Wayne.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.